welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This week, we have our first ever guest, Evan Alini. We talk about IVF, managing chaos, kids' cartoons, and prepping for the summer. We hope you enjoy.
Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, thanks.
We appreciate you.
This is cool. I'm on a podcast.
First ever
First
guest.
ever. Yeah,
First ever guest.
podcast.
You're definitely special.
Well, thanks.
So, give us a little background about yourself. How many kids you have, and what you do for a living, where you're from.
All right. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Justin. And thanks, Devin.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys in the flesh and in here in the studio.
Yeah, right.
I guess. So, yeah, my name's Evan Alini. I'm a dad of two. And I think I feel like one of the unicorns because I've got a 16-year-old daughter who lives with her mom down in Nolensville, and I'm divorced and remarried. And then my second wife, Stephanie, now has our second son, my second kid, first son, is George, and he was just born, I think, a month before Ada. So
Yeah.
That's how we've been knowing each other with the kids in the same age. And George is, a hefty 9-month-old baby that fits in all the 12-month-old stuff
That's
now.
insane.
So, yeah,
And they're going to be
he's
best
a
friends.
Big guy.
So you had a kid like in the 2000s and then in the 2021,
Yeah.
right?
So Mackenzie was born in 2005,
Yeah.
and she's a 16-year-old now.
That's crazy.
So that's, it's like it really is like a generation gap. I
It
mean,
is.
It feels like all the stuff now that George has with these we got the little owlet that monitors his blood heart rate and his oxygen levels, and it's like. They got other things where it'll tell you like when they flip over. I didn't get
And you
any of
didn't
that.
have
but,
any of that with
I mean, we had like the basic monitor, and then like even the monitors can be on an app. We barely had cell phones.
technology,
in
man.
05, so
I feel like nowadays for baby stuff, I look up and I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to be anxious about this. Like I was supposed to be anxious if my baby's flipped over in their sleep.
I know.
All right,
yeah,
now
really.
I know.
Right. Yeah. And then I mean, even the diapers with the blue yellow.
Yeah.
So it's like been weird seeing that generation gap. And like I said, Mackenzie is full time with her mom down in Nolensville, which is a good 30-minute drive from here. So, and now she's driving, so don't get a lot of
Oh, man.
FaceTime with her because she's out doing her thing. Just finished her 10th grade year.
That's cool.
Down in Nolensville, so it's crazy. It's like, maybe got to solicit some of her babysitting services now.
Maybe.
Hey, yes, that is
Yes.
a great idea.
Yeah.
And please give me her phone number.
Yeah. Is it your wife's first kid?
Yes, so it's Stephanie's first kid, yeah, and it was a miracle baby too. So that's a fun story because she struggled with fertility and had we were going through bouts of her not getting pregnant, so we decided to see a doctor. And my old company fortunately gave benefits for it, IVF, and
that's
so
great.
I took advantage of it. And wow, it's a roller coaster ride. So we went through a lot of, literal highs and lows every month. So it's like hormones, injections, and going up and down. You're not pregnant, you are pregnant, and just all the stuff. And then I got tested, and we knew my boys could swim, so it was good on my front.
The
and
boys were
we
good.
didn't know what was going on with her, and I guess they found out she had like a low egg reserve. So it's amazing just all the even genetics and stuff that we learned going through that process. And then it took 7 rounds.
Yeah.
So it was like 6 unsuccessful rounds of IVF and hormones and different visits to the doctor. And of course, through COVID. So half the time I couldn't even go in when it wasn't my turn to contribute, you know. So it was like she was just going to get hormones or get the egg retrievals. So I just have to sit and wait. It was great clinic, and finally we were successful. And the running joke was I laugh because obviously I'm injecting her in hormones, and like she's taking pills and all this other stuff, and then and then they do the egg insertion. I forget the terminology that they call it, because they fertilize it first outside of her womb, and then when they know that it's a viable embryo, they put and they fertilize, and then the hard part is, will it stick? And that was the 7 failures, and there were different ways of doing that. And then it finally, when it succeeded, I was like, Stephanie, I knew you were pregnant when we finally found out, because you were finally nice to me. And like the hormones were level, and she didn't have the ups and downs. And then so we knew the day of conception was December 7th of 2020, and then George was born in August 13th of 2021.
Did you get to choose the gender of your kid, more or less?
So we could have, that was interesting too. But we wanted to keep it anonymous and based it on the healthiest, the most viable embryo. Cool. So I think in the end we had 4 or 5 viable embryos that are still on ice. So we actually, if we want to go another round, they're waiting for us.
Wow.
And we can go for another round. But they just tell us that this is, and they rate it on a grade scales from A to F or whatever. And so George was our A+ embryo. And they're like, do you want to know the gender? And it's like, no, why don't we wait? And so we held off at first.
That's cool.
And then at least till we knew he was pregnant, or she was pregnant with him. And then when they did the test and we saw like I don't even remember, it was a 6-week-old embryo inside of her sticking. And they measured the heart rate. So at that point, they were like, you know what, we want to know now. So we made it kind of official or, surprising to ourselves. We didn't do a whole gender reveal, but then we went to the nurse that gave us a little, like, do you want to know? I was like, no, put it in an envelope. Yeah. And so we put it in the envelope. I was able to go to the clinic indoors for that when it was still early 21. Yes. And we just took the envelope, sat in the car, and we both kind of made a guess at first. And it was like, I know it's a boy. And it was a boy.
That's
and
cool.
They had the little paper, did the little blue, it's a boy. So.
Was that what you guys were wanting, or did you not even care?
It completes the set for me, but Stephanie didn't care. She was just going through the struggles. So I was obviously ecstatic regardless, having a daughter already and then getting George. So, and we kind of knew the name right away, too, because she's got the Greek background.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, so, and Alini is Italian, of course, so I had the Italian name and the last name, so I'll give her the benefit for having the first name. And so we went with George with her Greeks. Mom's side of the family is all Greek, so
that's cool.
Very strong name. We have a bunch of Georges, and ironically, both of George's grandparents have George, so even her dad is an Isaac George.
Oh, cool.
And her mom had a brother named George and also had a father named George, and then I think also had like we have a cousin. She has a cousin named Georgina. Yeah. There's Georges all over the place. Cool. So
That's awesome.
It was a strong name, and then we chose Stone for the middle name.
Sweet.
Just for a solid kind of...
For some odd reason, I did not know that.
Yeah, no.
I did not know Stone.
So George
Stone.
Yeah, very solid cornerstone foundation.
That's cool. There you
had
go.
To go with that, so.
Man, I feel like it'd be interesting to do if we could ever do a deep dive with you about what IVF was like, because I feel like a lot of it is always from the female's perspective because it's their body, it's what's happening to them, but what the husband or partner feels going through that also, they also have their own set of emotions.
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure.
Maybe at some point in time we should have you back to discuss that if you're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I could go for hours on that. So it's like amazing.
Well, I mean, like even if I've had friends who have a miscarriage, and to ask the husband how are you doing with it, they're like, oh, no one's actually asked me that yet. I'm just trying to figure out how to support my wife. And I'm like, oh, you have feelings about this too, man. Like let's discuss how you're processing it because you're part of it too.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We should figure that out.
Yeah, and you said it was 7 failed times.
Yeah. Before? So and 6 of those are what they call IUI. So it's intrauterine insemination versus the in vitro. So the intrauterine is just take my sperm and time it with her egg dropping out of the tubes or whatever and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
So no chance of even, first you got to fertilize and then you got to let it stick to the uterus. So then IVF is when you make the embryo, it is a living, actual viable, I guess outside of the womb kind of thing. Yeah. But then you take that and make sure it's healthy, and then you insert that and hope that it sticks to the womb inside the uterus. So IUIs was 6, 1 failed IVF. Yeah. And then the second time we were successful. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And through that span, how many weeks, months?
It was almost every month for the IUIs because, I guess we started, this was COVID too. So literally I think we did the first IUI right at the beginning of 2020, or it might have even been the end of 19. And then, of course, March is the hit for COVID, and then they closed down. And so we had to wait because they were like, nope, we
got to figure
can't
some
do
stuff
any
out.
No voluntary surgeries have to happen. Obviously, everything was shut down. Yes. So fertility
that was included
IVF
in it. Yeah.
is definitely off because that's a choice, and it's not a mandatory surgery. So I think we might have had to wait 6 months, and then we did 6 months in a row.
Wow.
So, I forget the exact time.
So stress and anxiety tenfold just because of COVID.
Yeah, talk about COVID with a wife. And then on top of that, so with my wife having this miracle baby, George was due on August 25th, and Stephanie's 40th birthday was on August 26th And so, she's like total miracle to have that. And then he was born 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
So, and then, and so I'm representing Generation X here at 48 years old myself. So, having a 16-year-old daughter when I was, I guess, 32.
Yeah, right.
And now I got George in my upper 40s. So, I'm super ecstatic. I mean, it's like keeping me fit, forcing me to want to stay healthy for it. But
George is a good-sized kid, too.
Oh, yeah.
He is not like a casual pickup. Like,
yeah, because your son is the same age,
He's
right?
the same age,
and
but like not as sturdy as your son.
A little bit more petite.
Yes.
For sure. So,
did you find it hard to get back into the rhythms of a newborn after not being part of them for like 16 years or so?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I definitely knew what to expect with the sleepless nights, but I didn't remember like it was like such a regimented, like every 3 hours they're up and they got to be fed. And, Stephanie was nursing, but fortunately I was also with my job able to take 12 weeks off.
Oh, nice.
So they gave a pretty nice paid benefit. With that too, and I split it up into 2 6-week periods. So went from like September, October off, came back working, and then Christmas time took off.
Nice.
That was also a nice,
pretty cool. Had no idea you could
benefit.
do that.
Yeah. Well, some
Depends on the
companies
company.
have that now.
Yeah, that's a nice company to be able to do something like that for their workers for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. You want to get into the highs or the joy of whatever happened throughout the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Justin, I feel like you had a pretty busy week or a pretty chaotic week.
Oh, gosh.
Since we were actually originally supposed to meet up on Wednesday with Evan.
Was it Wednesday?
I think it was Wednesday.
Yep.
Then it was supposed to be...
I think it was just Wednesday. We just rescheduled
I
from
thought I
Wednesday.
canceled like twice on you guys already.
I thought it was just once.
Maybe I was out of town when you
that's
originally
right.
asked me. So
okay, I
put
felt
it
so
on hold.
horrible for canceling. I guess I just
just one.
thought I
Yeah.
canceled
You're just so
multiple
overwhelmed
times.
with guilt and shame that it all just runs together.
Oh man, yeah.
But back to how you failed us. Yeah, continue.
I failed really hard. I failed you both.
But yeah, we were supposed to meet up on Wednesday to do this episode to talk and everything.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Hey, Ada's projectile vomiting."
Yeah. Well, I mean, so Monday rolls around. I'm at work. Haley calls me. Hey, we have to go pick up Ada. I'm like,
That's not
okay.
good.
What happened? Daycare called. She has pink eye. I'm like, oh no. I was like, I don't see her in the morning times because I leave before she wakes up. I was like, I put her to bed Sunday. She had nothing showing pink eye. And Haley was like, yeah, she woke up. I'm like, I just thought it was sleep.
Yeah,
I didn't think anything else. When she picked her up, I mean, there was stuff just oozing all the way down her cheeks. We had to go pick her up on that. Get her a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. Get her the Ceftonir, I think is what it's called. Some type of antibiotic, hardcore antibiotic.
Yeah.
And she just starts, like, basically projectile vomiting.
Yeah.
And double ear infection and a temperature. All while Thursday, our sewer system backs up in our house, and we have a plumber come by. 8 o'clock in the morning, finally gets it to drain, but sewage all in our backyard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were walking around, I think, Thursday or Friday, and I could smell sewage. I was like, oh, gosh. I was like, oh, that's us, isn't it?
Yeah. Whenever Ada's sick, does Haley stay home with her, or do you?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad sometimes.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's part of the reason
but
why.
she works from home, so it makes it so much easier. And she can sometimes work, like, continue to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, not fully 100%
Kind of work.
on the work and everything like that. But, yeah, I told her, I was like, if Ada is not better by Tuesday, I will stay home.
Yeah.
Because I was like, basically it was all week.
Yeah.
All week she was gone from work.
That was one of the main motivators for me to quit my job, was because we were both working full time. The kids were at two separate daycares, so we could actually afford to have them in daycare.
Yeah.
And then, if one was sick, I had an inflexible job because I worked at a dentist's office, and I had to be physically present to be at the dentist's office and do my job.
Yep.
But Heather could work from home. But she made enough money that we can live off of her income. So be like, hey, can you watch the kids? You have more stress and responsibility. But I'm just gonna be at the dentist's office hanging out. So enjoy the sick kid. And then after a year of it with two kids, it was like, yes, this doesn't make any sense, does this is insane, right? Okay, cool. Because yeah, that stinks. You're like, okay, I still have the same expectations of the day, but I have a kid that wants to be touched at all times.
Yeah, especially when she had the ear infection, eye infection, and the temperature.
Yeah.
Like, she was not wanting to be put down at all.
No, of course not.
Every time and I would come home early.
Yeah.
As much as I could.
Of course.
To help out, but she just wanted to be held. And whine, constantly fussy, and I was like, I wish I could do something about it, but can't.
Nope.
Yeah. Just have to ride the storm.
You
and
do
it
kind
just
of.
Was, like I told you before in the text, feels like quicksand.
Yeah.
Feels like quicksand. The harder you try to dig yourself out, the more you fight it, the more you just sink in.
Yep. I
think that's also my depression setting in. So
maybe a little bit. But yeah, I think sometimes you take it a day at a time. Whenever that feels overwhelming, you just take it an hour at a time. And when that feels overwhelming, then you take it a half hour at a time.
Then you just keep going.
You just keep on breaking it down to smaller and smaller bites. As you're like, oh, today seems really overwhelming. All right, what about the morning? Oh, that's overwhelming. Okay, what about the next hour? Okay, I can do the next hour. Here we go.
Oh, gosh. What about you guys? Any lows?
Yeah. So I had a fun week also. Not that bad. But Heather was in Denver on Monday and Tuesday for work. And her flight on Monday was at like 5 a.m. So she had to leave at like 3:30, 4 a.m. And her Uber canceled on her in the morning. So we had to wake up the entire family because we only have one car. So we had to wake up the entire family and pile in and then drive to the airport and back. So that was a good moment.
Yeah.
And then trying to get all the kids to fall back asleep at like 4 a.m. after all of that excitement was good. And then here's a good dad reminder. Whenever you pick up your kid, don't fully extend your arms to pick up your kid. Keep them close to your chest because when you fully extend your arm, your spine gets out of whack. And then you go to the chiropractor 2 times in a week. Because that's what I did this week also. So, yeah, she got back on Wednesday afternoon and was like, my back really hurts. I was like, I think I'm going to call a chiropractor in the morning. It hurts that bad. And it was like, yep, you just, your spine's just a little out of line. I was like, oh, whenever I pick up my son, he has a 20-pound weight. And I am hinging at the waist, fully extended arms, picking him up like this. If you threw me a medicine ball right now, I would cradle it to my chest. I would not catch it out here. So just a good reminder, when you pick up your kids, keep them close to your body to not overextend your muscles, or have a chiropractor on speed dial.
There you go.
Yeah, even getting George, and he's 25 pounds out of the crib because he's on the lowest setting. It's like, George, okay, you got to stand up
Hey, man,
first.
You got to.
And then Stephanie's shorter than me, of course. I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, so it's
Does she have to lean over and
yeah, sometimes. Oh, well, she said now she has to let him go to put him in the crib.
Oh yeah,
because I can't reach.
You're on your own.
There you go. Dive in there.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Jinx.
Oh, there you a root beer. But yeah, that's the first time I've ever. I just turned 35 on the 13th of this month. And within a week or two of turning 35, I needed to go to the chiropractor because of my lower back from lifting up kids. So I just feel like that's funny. I got a little bit older and I was like, all right, cool, doctor, here I come.
Once you hit your 30s, you slowly decline.
Yeah, you're just like, all right, cool. Hey, body, didn't know you're going to ache like this.
But Evan, you still look like healthy and fit. What the heck? What's your secret?
Well, I mean, I don't know, having a kid when you're 47, is a good start to keep you young and spry, but I certainly don't move as quickly as I used to. I had Achilles operation on one leg, and the other one I got a bone spur, so I've always had heel problems. So luckily my knees have stayed in shape, and I've had a couple of back spasms here and there.
Yeah.
But I felt like that happened to me in the 30s, and it's a little sore over the last week just from George getting big. But I don't know. I've been fortunate just to, that was part of the motivation too of having a kid, is just to stay fit and grow up with him and, try to enjoy his physical fitness. Because Mackenzie was in soccer and for a little while, and then did it for a couple of years, and she did softball and gymnastics. So, I was definitely into those sports when she was playing them. So it was pretty fun. Well, cool. We'll see what George becomes, a big football player or something.
What about from your last week or two? Has there been anything that's been too meh or kind of on a downer or anything like that?
Well, I guess had a little fortunate downer then to an upper up high end note. Stephanie took her car in for an oil change. Yeah, just thinking, okay, it was time to get. And she's got a 09 Honda Pilot, so kind of older car, but. It's done well for us, and it's fully paid off, so we're happy to have that car. And she went and she's telling me she had George with her, and she's like, I don't know if I can stay here. My car is smoking. It's like, ask the oil change people.
Aren't you at the car place?
What they're supposed to do? Like, no, you need to go to Honda to figure it out. Like,
what?
It's a factory problem. The oil is not a problem.
We're just here to check the oil.
And then she heard this vibration noise, and so she's scaring me even more. It's like, just come home and we'll figure it out. She parks it in the garage. Like, I got to take your car to go to my parents now or something. So... and then I actually finally got a chance to look at it on Friday after my work day, and just kind of looked, and turned out that the plastic engine cover over the engine block had two of the, I guess it used plastic screws, had come loose.
Yeah.
So I just was able to screw one back on, and I went to the auto parts store to try to get a new one, but then they said Honda has to provide it. But even that is only going to be $100. So I thought it was going to be like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, of course. Or a new car.
No smoking either. So like the smoking went away. So.
$100 for a screw?
No, for the whole plastic.
Okay, good.
And it's Honda parts.
I was like, man, that should be a golden screw then.
They said they don't have the actual screws. So you got, because it's like two snap-in locks in the front and then two like little plastic screws in the bottom. So, but for something that I thought was gonna, and then the smoking I think was just because she had so much like leaves and twigs and buildup in the air filter that might have just smoked up or something.
Or the engine was exposed and it's hot. So.
Could have been something like that. So that was, almost a low and then turned into a high. So the car is good and still drives.
Yeah, that is the one thing. Luckily, right now, we've got a new car and I've got a work truck, so I don't have to really worry too much about car troubles. But
nice.
That's like the one thing that I dread ever is, you gotta fix this on your car, and it's gonna be like $2,000.
Just like $2,000 or so. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, there goes my vacation.
Basically, yes. My positive is Holly finished up kindergarten, or she graduated kindergarten this week, which is pretty cute. So Heather took her and Magnolia to McDonald's to get Happy Meals, which is also pretty cute. I didn't get one because I'm not happy. No. I didn't earn the toy, but they got to have they did a pretty cute Thursday. Like Heather went and picked her up and then did that, and then like kind of got the house ready for summer. So I have all three kids at home until August. So we've kind of like planned out like every day of the week I'm gonna try to do like a theme. Like Monday I'll do like science day, so I'll do basically a lot of stuff with baking soda and white vinegar and tie-dye basically. And then like one day go to the zoo, one day go to the science center. So planned out at least the next month of the summer, and we'll see how I do with three kids at home. But it should be a fun challenge. They're pretty fun. They're pretty cute. Yeah. So
there is if you ever run out of things, there's something called Wonder Dads.
Oh, okay.
I kind of follow them on Instagram. I don't know if it's I know it's a subscription, so I don't know if they have an app or whatever. But that's basically what they do is they give dads ideas on doing things with their kids, doing events with their kids. So if you ever run out of ideas, check it out. I don't know how much it costs though.
I'll figure it out.
We are not sponsored by them, by the way.
We're not sponsored by Wonder Dad. Wonder Dad has nothing to do with this product.
And nothing to do with Wonder Pets.
Or Wonder Pets.
Do you guys know that show?
Oh, no, I don't.
That was a show for Mackenzie when she was a kid. Wonder Pets. It was like little animals that were kind of like South Park animated. Like they were like moving creatures, but they were not cartoonish, but kind of, I don't know. That was a fun show.
I don't
Wonder
know
Pets.
Any of the
that
new
might
things.
be 15 years old, so who knows?
Man.
They still got Blue's Clues?
They still got Blue's Clues. They still got SpongeBob.
See, I didn't watch any of that. But like Haley grew up with Barney. I guess we were a four-year difference. I didn't think it was. I don't know.
It makes a difference. Like,
I guess it does. I grew up with like the old G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles,
Transformers.
Yeah, good old Sesame Street.
Voltron.
Mr. Rogers.
Yep.
Back when there's only one channel. That's
there basically was. And you had to pay for everything else.
It's true.
Well, my generation had Captain Kangaroo and
oh, man, that's
Electric Company.
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember what else that we had as kids. But, yeah, it was just like the UHF, VHF.
Yeah.
Manual knob control.
I think of more like cartoon shows from being like in 6th and 7th grade, or like watching a lot of like Rocko's Modern Life and like those really weird early Nickelodeon cartoons where I'm like, how were these ever kids appropriate?
Yeah.
Like all of those are really, really weird shows.
Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah.
Like that one.
Like how was that ever marketed towards children? That show is weird. And like I watch it now, I'm like, Nope. Probably. Yeah, I shouldn't have been able to watch this as a kid. Like, nope.
But you know what? We grew up just fine.
Did we?
I think we did.
Just fine is a relative definition.
We did.
And then I'll shout out to my sister who won't listen to this in Virginia, but she would know if I said YCDTOT.
What?
You can't do that on television.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Where
yeah,
Alanis Morissette got her start.
Yes, that's
I
right.
had no idea. I'm going to have to Google that.
Oh.
That was classic after school kids TV for me, is like growing up, actually.
Salute Your Shorts.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Green Slime. That's where Green Slime came from.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You can't do that on television.
Wow.
Did
I
Mark
thought
Summers
that
say
was Double Dare.
That was in Double Dare, but that
Okay,
came after because it was when you said "I don't know" on the show. You got Green
slimed.
Slime.
Right, yeah.
If you said water, you got water on you.
I think it's funny because like nowadays, whenever I was a kid, I remember like setting up a VCR and pressing like record and setting up times, and then like being like, oh man, I hope it caught it. I hope it recorded Voltron, and then getting home and realizing I'd forgot to put a blank tape in or something like that, and then being like depressed. And now like kids are like, I want to watch Bluey. It's on Disney Plus. I want season 2, episode 5, and I'm like,
see, I remember my parents having the like TV guides.
that
would come in the newspaper,
and you had to pay for it.
You would have to, like, yes, it's coming on. I need to make sure
I'm gonna get it. Yep.
I'm at the house at this time.
Yep.
Not I'll just watch it whenever I want.
Pretty much. But Justin, what's your positive or happiness from the last couple of weeks?
Positive. Well, last week we had we went to Finch's birthday party, the Hallman's little one.
Oh, sweet.
So that was fun.
Cute.
Ada got to be around all the other little ones. Then we went to a cookout. So Ada got to be in a splash pad for the first time.
Oh, that's fun.
Not really in it. She sat next to it, but then just like patted the
water.
water and then like wherever it was coming out, she would always just put her hand out like, why can't I touch that?
Does she sit up pretty well? Like, is she pretty stable? Cool.
Yeah. I'll have to show you pictures.
Yeah.
The person, the wolves that had us over, they have a daughter that's 10 days young or older than Ada.
Yeah.
And they were just sitting next to each other playing. Loved it. She loved it. I love how she can just get along with anybody.
Yeah.
And then yesterday we had a company picnic or company event at
outing.
the zoo. Yeah, outing, I guess you can say. So our company took all managers, all their family and everything to the zoo. We walked around. We did the dino, but those were my highs. Just being able to do something outside the house.
Yeah.
I feel like lately just been work, come home, take care of a sick little one, and then go back to work and do the same thing over again. So
it's a bit much.
Just getting out of the house, like, good for my soul.
It is.
Yeah. What about you, other than the car thing? Do you have any?
We're just looking forward to utilizing our pool. So
Pool. Wow, now we know why I invited you on the show.
Yeah.
Devin,
This episode's sponsored by Evan's Pool.
That's right.
But yeah, we got an above ground pool. You know, it's a little circle one.
Yeah.
You can't swim laps in it, but it's great. It's going to be awesome for George, and we'd love to have your kids over.
That's cool.
Yep.
You know, come splash around.
Have you guys used it yet?
Yeah. We've gotten in it a little bit. We've had this chill spell over the last week where it was a little bit chilly and cloudy. So it's kind of a good refresher, though, sometimes in the morning. But then a lot of times I'll just because you got to vacuum it along the bottom. It gets dusty, especially after the storms.
Sure.
But it's just exposed. But luckily we don't have a lot of leaves or trees up above that any leaves are falling. Fall, we close it down. But we definitely love the pool and looking forward to that and just getting George outdoors and having some fun. And
did you swim a lot as a kid?
I mean, I did, but I hated swim lessons.
Oh, did you?
I am such a stubborn person. From like 3 years old, I didn't want people telling me what to do.
Has that changed, or
nope,
is that still?
It still has not. You can ask Haley.
Yes. Oh, she's already told me. I didn't have to ask.
I am stubborn to the core. I'm working on it.
Well, tell me, like, who isn't stubborn? Like, who's out there like, no, I'm not stubborn about anything. I'm like, cool, so you're stubborn about being stubborn.
They're
is all you told me.
stubborn about being stubborn. Awesome.
Well, thanks for being our first guest.
Yeah, no, you guys are awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been fun listening to these podcasts too,
Thanks.
and now I'm part of it.
That's right.
That's
I
right.
guess I got to listen to myself.
That's right. And then critique yourself like crazy. You'll do it. Trust
Yes,
me.
you will. And
Is that what I sound like?
You'll get the. At least for me, whenever I listen, I get the icky feeling. I'm just hearing myself.
Oh, it's me again.
I hate my voice.
Well, no, this was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Thought it was going to be interrogation. I'll sign the consent form.
Yeah, you'll sign
afterwards.
the handwritten consent form.
I made a consent form that just says consent.
Consent. I have given it. That's how it works, right? That's how contracts work. I've signed the contract.
And I was going to say, too,
Yeah.
Devin, so you played the little intro, outro?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Which was cool because I was listening the first time I listened to Nashville Dads. I was like, well, that's a cool song. I'm gonna Shazam it. And then
it's like, it was a Shazam's like, I have no idea what you're talking about here, man.
not
So,
recognized, but
Yep.
it's a cool little ditty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can
Put it on there, man.
listen
Produced
to.
and music done by
Yeah,
Full
him.
there you
version,
go.
Start selling
There's
music.
the. You can tell I listened to a lot of acoustic music in the early 2000s. But yes, thank you for being on. That was one of the main things we wanted to do when we started this was curiosity is a great thing. And every dad has a very different story about how their life has been and what their fatherhood journey has been like. So thank you for being our first adventure in that.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks.
yes. And I say we definitely have you back on and talk about that in
Yeah.
vitro.
Yeah,
just
IVF
have a whole
or-
segment
Yeah.
on that.
What have you. And, if anyone wants to, I don't know if you get emails and fan mail or
Yeah.
something, but let me know if I have to respond to something too.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. No, we'd
Yeah,
love
buddy.
that. But Justin, Ada isn't here, so she's not crying, or if she is, we can't hear her. So bye.
See ya.
We really hope you enjoyed that episode. Please make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Nashville Dads. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.